Hi, this is Courtney Davis, and thanks to all the new subscribers and all your lovely messages to the Spirit of Celtic channel. So today's video comes from a time in my life where I was in a deep limbo, and no matter which way I turned, each effort seemed to slip into another disaster. So I guess embarking on an image like the Raven was always going to be a bit of a challenge. In 2011 I began to experiment with acrylic paints and to try and find a new way of expressing what was happening to me. But no matter how I tried, the painting seemed lifeless. The spark that had ignited me before was still missing. That was really frustrating, as I felt that I had a lot to express visually. So I was so used to the art flowing easily for me. Often with my collaboration with Merlin, it was not unusual to complete a painting a day while we were working on the books. But the Merlin connection had stepped away for a year. I became the art director of a large exhibition project called Ravenous for Art that was to run at the Cube in Corby, Northamptonshire. Thankfully I was so distracted from the artistic vacuum I was in, as my art was to be the first exhibit in the space. I decided to direct my acrylic endeavour into an art piece called Raven Man. Over the years I was so used to the easy flow of the gouache paint on paper, so the project became a bit of a battle rather than some meditative state. The exhibition grew and grew, with many famous artists contributing to the event, based on the story of Raven Man, which was a multimedia centrepiece to the exhibition. I was having meetings in different parts of the country as the project took shape. Then it completely died. Even though the event folded, I carried on experimenting with acrylics on the painting. The effort seemed like my life at the time, moving from one disappointment to another. I was rudderless and I seemed to be going nowhere. I took the finished painting to show an artist friend who had a studio in London. Right next door to her studio was a rehearsal room, and there were actors performing a show called Raven Boy. They saw the paintings and asked if they could leave the painting in the room as they practiced. All this time it felt like I was under the influence of the trickster goddesses, Morrigan and Carly, and I just wasn't listening to their message to just stop and be. The raven is sacred to many cultures throughout the world and is a symbol of protection and wisdom, magic and bringing back the sun. With this black plumage and disturbing deep hoarse croak, it's often viewed with some foreboding and seen as an omen of death. It straddles the worlds of the living and the dead, therefore often depicted as a messenger between the two worlds. The raven appears in various myths as a trickster and appearing as a dark, violent in stories of the Hindu goddess Kali and the Celtic goddess the Morrigan. the shape-shifting goddess of war, fate and death. She also presided over rivers, lakes and fresh water, in addition to being the patronage of revenge, night, magic, prophecy, priestesses and witches. But the Morrigan and the Kali are also seen as a benevolent mother goddess. Living in my car and at my lowest ebb, suddenly I woke up. This created a series of synchronicities that would eventually change my whole world in a year. But first I needed to complete a series of new paintings I called Awakening, and within a year be in Ireland under the guidance of mother energies that were more benevolent, nurturing to this floundering artist.